Imagine going to sleep tonight. You close your eyes expecting to wake up tomorrow morning, but when you finally open them, your parents look decades older, your friends have children, the technology around you feels like science fiction, and the world has moved on without you. It sounds like a movie, but for one woman, this actually happened. She lost more than 30 years of her life, not because she was kidnapped, not because she disappeared, but because her own brain trapped her inside time itself. Imagine closing your eyes tonight, expecting tomorrow to be just another ordinary morning. You have plans, people waiting for you, dreams you're still chasing. Then imagine opening your eyes and discovering that more than 30 years have disappeared. Your parents are old, your friends have grandchildren, the music you loved is now considered classic, the phones people carry look like tiny computers. The world has changed without you. It sounds impossible, like something from a science fiction movie, but medicine has documented cases so strange that even experienced doctors struggled to explain them. This is the story of a young woman whose life stopped while the rest of the world kept moving. And by the end of this story, you'll understand why the human brain remains one of the greatest mysteries ever discovered. It all began with what looked like an ordinary illness. She was young, healthy, full of energy. One afternoon, she complained of a terrible headache. Her family assumed it was stress, maybe the flu. She rested for the evening, but the next morning, she couldn't wake up. At first, everyone believed she was simply sleeping deeply. Minutes turned into hours. Hours turned into panic. An ambulance rushed her to the hospital. Doctors checked everything. Her heartbeat was normal, her lungs were working, her blood pressure was stable, but she wouldn't respond. She couldn't speak. She couldn't open her eyes. She couldn't react to pain. It was as if someone had switched off consciousness while leaving the rest of her body running. The medical team suspected viral encephalitis. Others believed it could be a rare autoimmune disease attacking the brain. Every scan raised more questions than answers. Her family waited outside the intensive care unit, hoping each day would be the day she finally opened her eyes. But that day never came. Weeks passed, then months. Machines kept her alive. Nurses spoke to her every morning. Her parents held her hand every single day. Some experts believed she could still hear them. Others argued her brain wasn't processing anything at all. No one truly knew. Meanwhile, outside the hospital, life refused to stop. New buildings appeared, children were born, wars began and ended. The internet changed the world. Entire generations grew up. While inside one quiet hospital room, time stood completely still. Then something unexpected happened. After years of almost no visible response, doctors noticed tiny movements. A finger twitched. Her eyelids trembled for a brief second. Was it just a reflex? Or was she trying to come back? No one wanted to make promises because medicine had seen false hope before. But this time, something felt different. For years, nothing changed. Every morning, doctors performed the same examinations. Every night, her parents went home, wondering if tomorrow would finally be different. Most people would have given up hope, but her family never did. They decorated her hospital room with family photos. They played her favorite songs. They celebrated every birthday beside her bed, even though she never opened her eyes. Medical experts called her condition a persistent disorder of consciousness. Her heart was healthy. Her lungs continued to breathe with assistance, but the bridge connecting her brain to the outside world seemed almost completely silent. Then, medical technology began to evolve. Years after she had fallen unconscious, neurologists used advanced brain imaging to search for something they had never been able to see before. Instead of asking, "Is she awake?" they asked a different question. "Can her brain still understand us?" The results shocked everyone. When doctors asked her to imagine playing tennis, one part of her brain became active. When they asked her to imagine walking through her home, a completely different region lit up. She couldn't move, she couldn't speak, but somehow, deep inside her mind, she understood every word. Imagine hearing every conversation around you, every tear your family cried, every doctor saying there was little hope, while being completely unable to answer. Some scientists compared it to being locked inside your own body, a prison with no doors, no voice, No way to tell the world. I'm still here. The discovery changed everything. Doctors no longer saw her as a patient with no awareness. They saw someone who might still be fighting to come back. Months later, her therapy became more aggressive. Specialists stimulated her brain with sounds, music, familiar voices, gentle physical movement. No one knew whether it would work. Then, one quiet afternoon, a nurse noticed something unusual. When her mother spoke, a single tear rolled down her cheek. At first, everyone thought it was coincidence, but it happened again. Every time her mother's voice filled the room, the tears returned. It was the first emotional response anyone had seen in years. Hope returned, slowly, painfully slowly. Her fingers began responding to simple commands. Once, then twice. The movements were tiny, almost invisible, but they were real. Doctors documented every change because each small movement challenged what medicine believed about recovery. Then one morning, something happened that nobody expected. Her eyelids opened for the first time in decades. She looked at the world again, but the world she remembered no longer existed. The faces around her had changed. Her parents looked like elderly strangers. The nurses treating her weren't even born when she first fell asleep. The calendar on the wall showed a year she couldn't believe. She had lost more than 30 years in what felt like a single night. And the hardest part was only just beginning. When she finally opened her eyes, the first thing she searched for was a world that no longer existed. She expected to see the same hospital, the same doctors, the same calendar year she remembered. Instead, everything felt unfamiliar. The television on the wall was impossibly thin. People carried small glass devices that could make phone calls, play music, and connect to the entire world. Cars looked different. Fashion had changed. Even the language people used had evolved. To her, it was as if humanity had jumped into the future overnight. But the biggest shock wasn't technology. It was the people. The young faces she remembered had become old. Some friends had moved away. Others had passed away. Children she had never met were now adults with families of their own. Imagine losing 3 decades, not because you forgot them, but because you never had the chance to live them. Doctors faced another mystery. How much of her memory had survived? Would she remember her childhood, her family, her favorite songs? The answer surprised everyone. Some memories were crystal clear. She could recognize familiar voices. She remembered places from her youth. She recalled stories that no one had mentioned for years, but everything after the day she lost consciousness was simply missing. Her life had a gap no memory could ever fill. Neurologists explained that the brain stores long-term memories differently from new experiences. The memories formed before her illness had been protected, but the years that passed while she was unconscious were like blank pages in a book. Rehabilitation became her new full-time job. She had to rebuild strength in muscles that had barely moved for years. Simple tasks became enormous challenges. Holding a spoon, sitting without support, learning to walk again. Every small victory took weeks of practice. Every step reminded doctors of something remarkable. The human brain can heal, even after unimaginable trauma. Not perfectly, not quickly, but sometimes far beyond what anyone expects. Her case inspired researchers around the world to study consciousness in a completely different way. Instead of asking whether someone looks awake, scientists began asking whether awareness might still exist beneath the surface. Today, advanced brain scans have revealed that some patients who appear completely unresponsive may still process language, recognize loved ones, and even follow simple mental instructions. It changed medicine forever because it forced one uncomfortable question: how many silent minds have we failed to hear? Her story wasn't just about survival. It became a reminder that the brain still holds mysteries science has only begun to explore. And perhaps the greatest mystery wasn't how she woke up. It was how hope stayed alive for all those years. If this story changed the way you think about the human brain, remember, every ordinary moment you live today could become the most precious memory tomorrow, so don't wait to tell the people you love how much they matter. And if you enjoy real stories backed by science, subscribe to The Mind Nova, because the next mystery might completely change the way you see the world. See you in the next video.